This is Plastic Adventures.
Hey everybody, welcome to the PATC, the Plastic Adventures Toy Community, and we're doing the Toy Mill today. I am Doug, your host, with Steve, my co-host, and we're going to talk about toy news. It's been a while
Exactly.
since we've gotten together to talk about toy news, so some of this may not be news anymore, but hey, it's news to us, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, bringing you the up-to-date news of a couple weeks ago. When we're
And
on
then,
our game, we get it to you every week, just a few days delayed. But boy, does that real world ever have the way of getting in the way.
oh goodness, does it? Yeah. So, all right. So, some of the things I wanted to kick off were we had GI Joe Day, and while we haven't talked about news recently, and so during that particular GI Joe Day, they revealed four new classified figures in the upcoming lineup. We're still this is still a couple of waves ahead, right? We still haven't got some of the waves that they revealed before, like the torpedo waves, the shipwreck, um, the cover girl, which are awesome figures. Can't wait for those to hit. But these are now going to be the wave after that one. And they showed some digital renders of those. And so the one I'm really excited about from these reveals is of course Snow Job, right? Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's like a good one in a sequence of good reveals for GI Joe Day. I'm super happy about Torpedo coming out and Snow Job. Those were the two that I was like, if Classified ever gets those ones out, that's the gold standard, right, for those figures. And they released and they've shown us both of them, so they're both coming.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
But they showed other stuff too.
they did. Yeah, there's other ones. We have a Televiper with
Yes.
Trouble Bubble.
Yes. New
I know.
vehicles. Yes.
And the details on that thing look really good as well. So, and this isn't a HasLab. This isn't something. This is something we're all getting. This is something that
Yep.
we get.
Yep.
So that's great. The Trouble Bubble is a great 6-inch addition. I think. I'm trying to figure out, looking at these guys, how big that thing's going to be, and it's going to be it's going to be a good size,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean,
For
it's got to be big enough for a 6-inch figure to sit inside of it. So
absolutely.
that one caught me off guard. I was super excited to see that.
Yep.
And you took a character like Televiper, who I've always kind of liked.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're pretty useless, but I like the design. And it might not have been one that would have made their regular releases, but it made really, really good sense to put him with the flight pod. I like that
Well, I
idea.
think in the original commercial for the Televiper, he was in the Trouble Bubble.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. But the cool thing about that Televiper is he comes with alternate heads. So his body is completely covered, but he has alternate heads for different races. So like if white or black, and then I think there's one that's like completely covered, so you don't see any skin at all.
Hmm.
But that's a pretty cool idea. Without having to release multiples of the same figure with different skin tones, just give him an alternate head, right?
Yeah, I
So,
didn't see a lot of the details on those. I thought it would have been cool if they had one that had the words coming across
oh
there
yeah.
like duck or oh no,
Shit. But yeah, he's a good one, and the accessories look just like the ones from the OG figures, so they
Yeah.
look really good.
Yeah,
Um,
Classified is going way OG with everything from now on. It's terrific.
it was a major course correction when they did it, but it was a needed one. So,
Yeah, didn't they show Scrap Iron too?
well, that was the next one I was going to say.
Yeah.
So, Scrap Iron is on there, and he also comes with a rather large accessory, which is his missile launcher. And so he's the colors that he's known for, the classic colors. He looks pretty much just like his 3 3/4 figure, but he just looks really good. A lot of detail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a little baby missile launcher that came with the original figure
Mm.
with that wonky kind of like what would that be
Well,
called? A quad pod that it sat on?
well,
It
so
had like
it sat on like this little four-legged pod with this little
yeah.
box with these two little missiles with a wired remote. Like that was
Yeah, it's like a
usually the first thing you lost.
Nokia 5110 that was attached to it. Yeah.
Well, but the good thing about this one is he doesn't come on a tripod. This one has tracks, like tank tracks, but it has a large assortment of fire and smoke accessories.
Yeah.
So you can set them up to launching those missiles. You can have the dust kicking up behind the tracks. I mean, they put a lot of thought into this one to make it a really good figure.
Yeah, that's very, very pleasant surprises, but I think you're going to bring one up that just shocked me when I saw it.
So then the last one is probably the coolest one. So back in the day, we had Steel Brigade where you could send away and get your own name and get your kind of own file card. And some people felt that kind of fell flat, but I really liked the Steel Brigade. I thought he was really kind of cool.
I wanted to buy one until I saw the prices.
Well, yeah. But this Steel Brigade is going to be on the shelf. We don't have to send away for him. But there's going to be 2 versions of this Steel Brigade, which I think is probably the really cool part about this. So because Steel Brigade is the nameless soldier or the faceless soldier of G.I. Joe, we get a male and a female version.
Yeah,
that's really
I thought
cool.
that was super creative, super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was totally expecting like green shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still expecting those down the way because I heard that we're getting a grunt in an upcoming wave.
Good. I hope we get him in like plain green and plain tan. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh man, wouldn't it be cool if we got tan grunt first? I actually like tan grunt better than green grunt, but anyway.
And they can make him look like Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop.
I think he looks like Michael Ironside.
Or Michael Ironside, yeah.
But either way though, those were the 4 big reveals for G.I. Joe Day, which I thought were outstanding.
Yeah, and that was G.I. Joe Day. We were supposed to get a live stream.
So there's a G.I. Joe Hasbro Pulse that was scheduled, but then that got moved to March. So
yeah, they haven't really said why that was, but there is the thought is that perhaps they didn't have some of their samples. It didn't get shipped in time. I just have a feeling we're going to see some O-ring. They've been so quiet about it. Mum's the word. And I don't think O-ring's dead. I think it would be cool if they announced like a couple of the 2-packs and then did, the next Transformers Joe crossover, which is heavily rumored to be Sergeant Slaughter.
Triple T.
Yeah. I'd be totally cool with that. I would buy that.
Well,
even for the
G.I. Joe Hasbro Pulse also has one big item that they need to kind of give people an update on, which is the Dragonfly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I think O-ring's coming, but we won't find out until middle of next month into March.
But they gave us enough to keep our appetites wet because that Snow Job is just a beautiful looking figure.
Oh man. So many Snow Job jokes to get us kicked off YouTube. Anyways.
All right. You want to cover the Transformer part?
Actually, we'll circle back around to the Transformers. There was a whole bunch of leaks for Transformers. Very cool.
Yep.
What I wanted to talk about, and you'll see why this is connected, but like the Flash movie trailer dropped, and we got Michael Keaton saying, "I'm Batman." And we got
chills.
Yes, we got to see his black bat suit, and we got to see Affleck back as Batman, and we got to see, presumably it could have been Christian Bale's Batman. I don't know, but there was a lot of little things. He was
riding Christian Bale's bike.
They had blue and gray bat suits. Apparently, James Gunn. Mm-hmm. He's him and this guy named I think it's Safran. They're the new gurus at DC, and this movie was so good that they're trying to figure out ways to integrate it into this sort of like soft reboot that they're working on.
Okay.
So I was a little excited for that, but seeing Keaton as Batman again was just pretty awesome. Like we've been waiting a long time. He was Batman in that god-awful Batgirl movie that they've put on the shelf that they will never show because, I mean, for God's sake, if a movie, if the production company says it's unwatchable, those guys will put anything out for a buck.
that's then you know it's bad.
So yeah, if they're saying it's unwatchable, it was crap. But finally, we're getting Keaton back.
Mhm.
What this is ultimately going to mean is McFarlane Toys is going to have a heyday with these, and they have just been absolutely killing.
Yep.
That's not the news. That's like what I hope is going to be happening. So in a celebration of Keaton being back in his bat suit, maker of all things screamingly expensive Hot Toys
Hmm.
showed us a new deluxe 89 Batman,
Mm.
different heads, all kinds of different gear. And I mean, Hot Toys, yes, that's $200 worth of figure when you buy that. It's that good. But if 200 was good, maybe $345 for their new Batman would be better, because that's what it's going to be.
Yep.
But they also unveiled a 12-inch scale Batmobile that's up for
Yeah.
pre-order. That is so good. Like you
So
see the
remember when they did
pictures.
the same thing for Back to the Future when they gave us the Hot
DeLorean?
Toys Marty McFly, and then they revealed the DeLorean that goes with it. Ugh. Can you imagine having those two back to back with each other? Some rich nerd out there is going to have that. I know it.
Yeah, so I saw the news drop and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get it on the Facebook group. Oh, this is going to be so cool. The guys and gals are going over there are going to love this. And my buddy Romy, I'm like, oh, I don't know, this is going to be expensive. He's like, dude, the Batman is $345. The Batmobile is $715.
Oh my gosh.
Don't.
We are not the audience that they are putting these toys out for.
I mean, I can buy a few toys now and then, but I can't buy no like $1,000 Batman and Batmobile combination. Not when that's like half of a flag money right there.
No, I'm going to stick with hunting for the McFarlane version when it comes out.
And it'll rock, you know. And even though the movie version in this new Flash, it's not going to be the classic Batsuit, I can almost guarantee
It's
you
close
we're
enough,
gonna get it.
though.
Yeah, I can just feel it. They're going to do a classic version. But for those of us who can't drop tree fitty on the Hot Toys Batman, Beast Kingdom, who's kind of rising up on their own. I want to say it's an 8-inch scale Batman that's a very high-end, like premium figure. Those are going up for pre-order on Entertainment Earth. They're about 125-ish bucks over there.
Okay, so that's more in the affordable range.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a little too rich for my blood for that. But I mean, if you can't do one, that figure is so badass.
Yeah.
Just take a look at it on Entertainment Earth. It's really great. So I wanted to bring those up since that Flash trailer dropped, the best part of the Super Bowl, other than the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Go Chiefs, my Chiefs one. But I've been waiting for a 6-inch Keaton Batman for a long time. The one that NECA dropped a long time ago was really kind of a bad figure. It didn't look quite right to me.
So
and you can still pick them up online. I think there's knockoff versions of them that you can pick up online. But I'd rather have the McFarlane one when they go that way.
That figure had a lot of glue-on pieces, and they were just not. I don't think they were sized properly. Now, what I will say is I have one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really, really good, but it does not look as tight as it could be. And because all this vinyl pieces are glued on everywhere, you know, that glue wants to lift and come apart.
Yeah.
So yes, it'll be welcome when McFarlane does one. That's going to be like the Batman to beat all the other 6-inch scale, 89 Batmans that are out there.
He's going to rule the 6-inch shelf. That's for sure.
It'll be popular. I might actually pre-order that one to make sure that I can have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually do like the Batman 6-inch figure, the Robert Pattinson one. I have that one.
Oh, dude, I finally just let mine breathe.
Yeah, that one's. I mean, say what you want about the movie. The figure is actually really good. That's a really good Batman.
Design is terrific. It's so real world. Yeah. And I liked the movie. I thought it was great. I know some people didn't, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm middle ground about it. Like, there were parts I didn't like, but the parts I did like, I really liked.
Yeah, well, he just was really kind of scary. Yeah, that was something that, like, we do get the, like, I'm Batman, like all that stuff and
Yeah.
uh
I think
Where is the
he was an okay
detonator?
Batman. I just think that if you're going to play Batman, you've got to be able to play his alter ego really well, and I don't think he did too well with Bruce Wayne.
I think it depends on which interpretation you're looking at. But
Sure.
yeah, the next one will be pretty good too, I'm sure. And some of the things the fans probably took issue with, the fans, all like 4 or 5,000 of them that piss and moan about everything and take every opportunity to post about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not one of those. I mean, I'll admit there were things about it that I thought they could have done better, but pretty much any movie nowadays, I feel that way. That's something they could have done better.
yeah, we're
But
getting old, man.
yeah,
We want it our way, but
that's true.
it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Should we circle
so
back to the Transformers?
yeah, let's talk a little bit about all these Transformers leaks. Because we had what was it, like a fan first Wednesday Transformer thing?
Yeah. So Hasbro did give us some official views on some of the stuff that's upcoming. So like they gave us another Junkion Crash Bar, which I think, another Junkion motorcycle, yay. But at least it adds to the Junkion army if you're building one.
Yeah. Now, didn't you mention a few shows ago that they have connectability to each other?
They do.
Like you can take the arm from one and put it on the next. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Junkions are they have their own transforming, but they also have parts that can come off and you can combine them to other Junkions, which I think is a good idea. If
That's
you're a
a neat
Junkion, that sounds like what you should do.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that name sounds like you should be lying on the street corner with a needle hanging out of your arm. But
The Junkie on.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Let's
that's
see. So they gave us another Skids remold or recolor, right? So they
Yeah.
gave us Crosscut, which is a silver one, which I think is from another Diaclone version of him. So that's, I mean, yay.
yeah, just it is what it is, right?
Let's see. They gave us a core class look at Grimlock, which is one of the 5 Dinobots that they're putting out in core class size to create a combiner for Volcanicus. And I gotta say, they're very bulky. They're very bulky. They have a lot of chunk. They have a lot of kibble. And they just don't look right.
The proportions on Grimlock look awful.
They do.
I mean, it was
if you look at him from the front, he looks like Grimlock. But any other angle, it's like, this is garbage.
It reminds me with his tiny little torso. Do you remember the classics universe version that came? It was like about 2006. It was just after all of the Armada and all that came out. There was a line, and it was like this really updated Optimus Prime and Hot Rod and Starscream, and Megatron looked like a Nerf gun.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Classics. That was the name of the line. This Grimlock looks like the tiny little Grimlock that was in Classics with his tiny little torso and his big old legs. I don't get what they're doing here. So
the core class Transformers are a smaller price point. Okay. So it kind of allows them to put Transformers back in the hands of kids and not necessarily collectors. If kids can get their hands on them, they're a smaller price point, which is what the other core class figures were supposed to do. The Starscream, the Soundwave, the Optimus. It seems like a really kind of odd one to go with for core class.
Yeah, why don't they just take the stupid combination gimmick away and make it to where, because you got like the Optimus Prime and Megatron and Starscream and Shockwave and Rumble and Ravage. They all look super good.
Yeah.
And these Dinobots blow chunks.
They do. They're really not great. But
there was a lot of hope, but when you see all the kibble on them, what do you get? Is that going to form? You take like 5 ugly Transformers and make an uglier, bigger Transformer out of them?
Pretty much. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I just, to me, it was a really weird choice to do in those. I wish they would have just like stayed in their lane, and instead of worrying about a transformation gimmick, just make the figures better.
Yeah, just make them better. Yeah, I agree. But along the line of better figures, they also gave us a glimpse of Metalhawk, Voyager class Metalhawk. I love this dude's colors and his design.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, gold, blue, white, red. I mean, he's just a really good looking figure, and he transforms into that odd looking space jet. I don't know what it is, but it's something. And
I'll tell you what, if given the choice between this Metal Hawk and Pretender Metal Hawk,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty clear-cut choice there.
yeah,
But
I do want him, but he'll probably stay in robot mode because he kicks ass in robot mode.
yeah, so kind of what's interesting about this, there were 3 series of Japanese cartoons, obviously, that came after American cartoons ended. They ignored the rebirth and they went right into Headmasters. And they killed Optimus Prime again. Headmasters was all familiar characters that we knew pretty well, like Fortress Maximus and Scorponok and all that. But then they went into Super God Master Force, which was the Pretenders and the Power Masters. And we had this very confusing, like, Power Master Optimus Prime shell, but it wasn't really Optimus Prime. When we start that series, Metal Hawk is the leader of the Autobot Pretenders. And his colors are really distinct. He reminds me a little bit like, when you look at Star Saber, it's really vibrant and bright, and it's in a different way than I think the colors we're used to seeing on Transformers. So the design for Metal Hawk was pretty cool, like anime robot color design. I really dig that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this time, they did the upgrade that they've been doing with the War for Cybertron and Legacy and Studio 86, the transformation and the idea of making them look like a really good smash between the cartoon and the toy, the original toy. So we're getting really good versions of these characters that probably didn't have a good toy version the first time, but definitely getting one the second time.
Yeah, not at all. The original ones were awful, those Pretenders. If you ever seek out Headmasters or Super God Master Force, just do yourself
the Optimus Prime from that one with the Nebulons
just do yourself a favor, get it subtitled. If you get the dubbed versions, they were dubbed in the Philippines at some point, and I swear to God, it was like one voice actor doing everybody's voice with no change of voice inflection at all. It makes no sense. They take some of the literal Japanese translation when they're talking, and
oh boy,
just for the love of God, watch it subtitled. But they're worth a watch. They're really cool. Yes, that God Jinrai Optimus Prime Transector shell thing, you actually got to see him hook up with God Bomber, the additional trailer drone thing that followed him around, and I mean that made a formidable toy back in the day. So
absolutely.
Plus the
Japanese... So speaking of Optimus Prime, core class, we got his dark buddy Nemesis Prime. So he's basically just a recolor of the Optimus Prime that was for core class, but this time he's in black. So back in black. He's cool. We got a deluxe class Prowl from the animated series.
Yeah.
So the animated series, I was not a fan of the look of them. But when they brought in this Prowl and they gave him a more War for Cybertron kind of legacy look, he looks a lot better to me. He looks blocky, like a blocky Transformer should, but he still has those color elements of the animated. He's a different version of Prowl than most people are used to, but this version is not too bad.
Yeah, he's kind of like this stoic Buddha ninja warrior kind of a guy. He's not Prowl the tactician that we know from the original Transformers. That Transformers animated was super good if you love Transformers lore, and it was just a giant love letter to Transformers. But it's really hard looking at that whole like Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack animation style.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They did a good job with upgrading him here. They took the idea of him and brought him into a G1 style looking Transformer, which I was okay with.
Yeah, there was a lot that did a lot for the fandom, so I'm not going to complain too much. Not my favorite, but yeah, it's okay.
Still very cool. Okay, so we got a couple more. I'll kind of blow through them. We got a deluxe class Shrapnel, so we're adding another one to our Insecticons.
Yeah,
he looks really good. We got a leader class Skyquake. So Skyquake,
Transformers Prime.
Yeah, I mean they upgraded him, or they changed his style a little bit again. So he looks a little bit more blocky. than the Prime version, but I don't know if this one excites me as much as many of the other ones. Definitely beyond the Transformers that I liked and grew up with. So
Yeah,
but
and that was another good one. Like maybe aside from animated, Transformers Prime really probably is the best Transformers we've gotten in a long time. Certainly better than the Rooster Tooth things that, you know, that misguided attempt. But
oh man, but
again,
like the cartoon may not have been great, but man, the figures we got from that were just
yeah, no complaints there.
perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't care much for the story, but damn, those figures were outstanding. Okay, two that I'm really excited for, the last two, Core Class Thundercracker. He'll finish off my Core Class Seekers. So I got Starscream and I got Skywarp. So Core Class Thundercracker is going to fill that out nicely. He's just a recolor of the same other ones, right? That's exactly how they did it back in the day. So that's how they're doing it now. Why change what works?
Play ball.
Yep. But the last one that I'm pretty excited about is Voyager Class Twincast, which is the blaster version that was I think Twincast was only available in Japan.
Yes.
So we're getting a US version of Twincast based off of the blaster that was released in Kingdom.
Yeah, and I think he's getting an alternate head sculpt.
Let me see. It looks like he's got a little bit of a smile to him.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was it. I thought maybe what they might do is go classic blaster head, because the blaster we got was cool, man. I mean, it looked like the cartoon blaster. So I was wondering when I heard that little rumor if it would be the cartoon or the original toy head.
It looks very similar to the one that's already on it, but it does look like he kind of has a smirk, like he's smiling. So, but either way, it looks good. They're not giving us a what's it called?
He doesn't have a partner?
See-through eject. We're still getting a clear plastic eject, but he's not clear blue. He's clear smoky gray.
Oh, I wonder why they went clear. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. But if you've already got the Kingdom, I mean, it's not going to really be much different than that, but
probably
still a
because
fun one to pick up.
Cassette tapes, a lot of them were clear.
Oh, that's right. They were, yeah.
There you go.
Back in the day.
Mystery solved. You're welcome.
There you go. Yeah, well, all right then. But he looks really good. Yeah, red, white, and blue with a little bit of yellow in there. So,
yeah. Well, there is one that we missed, which was sort of a dark horse. I don't think they announced it on the fan stream thing. This one was, it's listed on a SKU list, and a lot of them are code named.
Yeah.
You know, they do that to hide the figures. So we're going to be getting some kind of a Commander class Ultra Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
And Commander class is the secret code name for very expensive. That's
big.
You know, that's like their $85 or $90 scale Transformers now.
I mean, so how big would Commander class be compared to, say, the Combiner Menasor?
I bet you he's going to be up to Minosaur's chest, if I had to guess.
Yeah, so he's going to be
Commander
pretty big
class. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he has to be a giant toy. It could just have a lot of accessories, like Rodimus Prime was a Commander class. Skylynx, Commander class. Skyfire. Or Jetfire, yeah, Commander class on Jetfire. So I'm really interested to see, because the leader class Ultra Magnus that we've got, he's big. You know, like he's bigger than Optimus Prime. He's bigger than Rodimus Prime. It's a good sized toy. I mean, it scales out well with the figures. So I'm trying to figure out what there is to gain by going Ultra Magnus on Commander class, rather than doing something like an update from one of the other, you know, like new aerial bots. I mean, that might be kind of cool to get, you know, to finally get some new updates other than the Titans Returns Combiner Wars aerial bots. But we'll see. I mean, he was not super popular, I guess, amongst other kids. I loved Ultra Magnus as a kid.
What? Who didn't like Ultra Magnus? Loved Ultra Magnus.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see him as like a knock Optimus Prime, but
oh, no way.
I just see him as a guy who idolized Optimus Prime and wanted to live up to his legacy. I think he's a terrific character. But
yeah, in my alternate headcanon, those two are brothers.
I don't know if it's in the comic books. It was kind of sort of asserted that that was the case.
There were some other Transformers in that SKU list
Yeah,
that I was pretty excited for. Two of them, there was actually a long list of them for that particular reveal. But two of them I'm really excited for, Ratchet and Brawn. Because Ratchet, let's just say every time Ratchet comes on the scene for shelf availability, he's gone, and then people resell him very quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I can get a opportunity to get him not in the War for Cybertron, Cybertronian mode. I can get him in his Earth mode, which he should look just like the 86 Studio Series Ironhide.
Yeah, terrific figure. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping we're going to get. But Brawn is an actual surprise. He's going to be a whole new mold. He's going to have to be.
Yeah. There's nobody to base him off of. So,
yep.
Before we started, we were counting down the ones that we had, and like we had Huffer and Pipes and so forth. We're missing in this deluxe scale where they're like an inch shorter than the other figures, so you're getting less toy out of it. But we already got Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper and all those guys. So Brawn is a very, very welcome addition to that scale.
Yep, Brawn is going to be good. We're already getting. I heard we're getting Gears.
Gears.
An unrelated release spoiler that we heard. We're getting that. So I guess we're just missing Windcharger, and we'll have the original 18 that were in season 1 of the original Transformers. But I also heard in this Hasbro Pulse that they gave us some art of some upcoming ones, and Beachcomber was in there. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. It won't take long if they're going to start pumping out these deluxe scales to fill the voids. Once you get Brawn, you get Outback. Once you get Windcharger, you get Tailgate?
Tailgate.
Yeah. Once you get Gears, you get Swerve, so forth and so on.
Yep. So they'll get some use out of those molds, and people will buy them definitely. But Beachcomber was another one of my favorites as a kid. I liked his little transformation. It was pretty easy. Beachcomber was one that was in my, I put him in my pockets and took him with me everywhere. So it'll be pretty exciting to see what they do, because the drawing that they released, he showed very much like the animated or the original animated version.
Hey, chill out, man. Come on. Yeah, I love Beachcomber.
Yeah, and his blue and gray is a great color.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it looks like we're starting to time out there, but you got any more there, Doug?
No, those were the big ones, I think.
Okay.
Let's see if there were any other ones. Nope, I think we covered all the Transformers and the main G.I. Joes. So.
Okay. I can get 3 more in 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Go for it.
Did everybody see the Motu Simple figures, Masters of the Universe, 7-inch scale figures? They're no longer squatty. They're going to be retail releases, probably $8 to $10 a piece, limited accessories. They went back old school with Man-at-Arms.
No mustache.
And Skeletor. Oddly enough, they don't hunch over like classic Masters or like what you can do with Masters Origins. They're in like standing positions, so they're more like Black Star from Galoob.
Yep.
Cool, interesting, like out of nowhere sort of a deal, but I'll make that judgment when I see it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, Hasbro did the same thing with its main group of characters for G.I. Joe, right? They did that with Duke, Snake Eyes. I think it was Cobra Commander, and was there a Destro? I think there was a Destro.
Yeah, and Storm Shadow. Yeah. Book of Boba Fett retros, yada 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 yada. Everybody, and then we've got Cad Bane and a Luke Skywalker retro from Book of Boba Fett. So I'll cherry pick those. I'll probably just buy the Luke. You get another Grogu and a Sand Person and Boba Fett and his pajamas, etc. So like the other retro lines, I'll cherry pick the Luke out of that one.
Well, I only got the 2 from Kenobi, right? Kenobi and Darth Vader. The rest of them I kind of passed on. Even though I see these waves of figures as a continuation of the actual Kenner line, I had to pass on the Inquisitors and stuff. But I got Kenobi and I got Darth Vader. But the Book of Boba Fett ones, I think, are actually pretty kind of cool. So I might.
Yep, I bought a Beskar Mando and a Boba Fett with the green and the little black skirt thing that he wore, but I cherry picked that too. So last but not least, in less than a minute, thank goodness we waited. We're getting really, really good Street Fighter 2 figures from Jada. They're on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. They're about $24 a piece. They are super awesome, unlike the Playmates Street Fighter versus Ninja Turtle figures that you get right now, where they look like awful rejects from the USA cartoon Kablooey Caboose thing that they did. So go take a look at them and pre-order them because they freaking kill. They're awesome.
Yep. Oh, wow. That was a lot of stuff we put in. I think we got like 20 seconds left. So come see Steve on Facebook, Plastic Adventures Toy Community. See me on Instagram, Toyman80s, and we'll see you in the toy aisle.